G'day, it's Keith here, taking a look at the squiggle on the line and taking a look at how we're going. Okay, this is the leaderboard after the 4 rounds with a round 0, or round 3 round 3 with the first one being called 0, or the 4th round if you call the first one round 1. The mean average error is just a little bit of an idea from all the different squiggle mobs. Mean average error, it's the average amount their predictions have been off by. Now, with some of the thumpings we've had, it's a little bit blown out, and some years you get a little bit lower than this, and this is ranking the different models by how much. So at the moment, the crunchers are very best, at an average amount to be off by of 28 points, where are ours? 31.5 for AFL Lab and 31 flat for live ladders. But we're going to put our faith in the history of those two models over the last 5 or 6 years where we've been looking. So let's take a quick look. It wasn't the best. We're calling it round 4. Didn't turn out the best for us, but there was one measly little point that threw us out with Hawthorn and GWS. We needed Hawthorn to win by 13. They won by 12. And the beggars were chipping it around in the back line as well. They must have known at the very end. As far as Melbourne Gold Coast, 1.5 points was the line from the companies, and the two models were, one had a win, the other one had a loss. Nobody saw the minus 58, the thumping. So forgiven on that one. Only just missed out with the Hawthorn and GWS. And West Coast Freo, our models were saying minus 15 and it was around minus 40. So within 25 points, which is the accuracy. So we got 1 right and 3 wrong. Not the best weekend, but as we flick over to the graph, grand total of 11 wins and 11 losses, but that still has us $5.30 down over the whole season. Not a whole lot, but it does demonstrate with equal wins and losses you will go down a little bit because they pay you $1.90, not $2 when you get one right. So let's take a look at this weekend, round 5. Tomorrow night, Collingwood Carlton. All of the lines are between minus 12.5 to minus 13.5, which means Collingwood would need to win by 13 or Collingwood would need to win by 14 or more. Now, both models have Collingwood winning by 14 or more, so we're going to go with Collingwood. And why go with needing to win by 14 when we can go with needing to win by 13? We saw what a difference 1 point made last week. And $1.91 for the payout instead of $1.90. We go with Bet365. Okay, Geelong and Melbourne. Both models have got a Geelong win of 25 or 26. The line have Geelong needing to win by 28, 28 or 29. So that's to say that we're predicting Melbourne. Melbourne to not lose by 29. Hey, we think Melbourne's only going to lose by 25. So we've got $5 on Melbourne. We're going by giving them a 29-point head start instead of a 28. And that means it's that $5 is with Sportsbet. Now we've got Gold Coast Adelaide. All the bookies want them Gold Coast to win by 5 points or more. We say they will. So we go with the one with the slightly bigger payout. It's Bet365 for the 5 Buckaroos. Richmond, Brisbane. The models, again, close together this week. The models have Richmond losing to Brisbane by 28 points. The bookies are saying we can give you a 48-point start if you go with Ladbrakes, 46 or 47 with the other two, but a 48-point start if you want to bet on Richmond. So we're putting $5 on Richmond to not lose by 48 or more points. Sounds good. There have been a few utter thrashings in this season. But anyway, $5 on Richmond with Ladbrakes. Now, North Melbourne and Sydney. We've got North Melbourne losing by 23 according to AFL Lab, and North Melbourne losing by 10 according to Live Ladders. The bookies have put the line in at 11 and 12 points, so that's in between the two. So the two models disagree. It's a let's not put a bet case. Okay, GWS and West Coast. We have got both models. I really don't know if I'm confident the models accurately predict the margins when other than saying the margin's going to be big. But for what it's worth, both of the models say 34 points for GWS. And the bookies are giving a 57-point head start to West Coast. Saying West Coast can lose by up to 56 and will still give you the money. So we're going with West Coast. According to the model saying 34 and the bookies giving us 57. Can't argue with that. So $5 with Bet365 for the $1.91 instead of the $1.90. St Kilda and Port. The models say Port Adelaide's going to win by 6 and 10. The bookies want them to win by 12, 13 or 14 points. So we're going to go with St Kilda to not lose by 14 or more. So that's with Sportsbet. Freo and Western Bulldogs. Both the models have Fremantle winning. And if we've still got that squiggle website. Not quite. I'll quickly go there. Because Squiggle AFL, feel free to do that particular search yourself at any point in time. Squiggle and AFL. We don't want the pre-season thing. We want Fremantle and Western Bulldogs. Just wanted to point out that there's a bunch tipping Freo and a bunch tipping Western Bulldogs amongst these models. So that one really is a little bit up in the air. And we're going to come back to our thing. And you can see we've got Freo tipped by our two models, but not by a whole lot. The bookies are a little more definite. The bookies say Fremantle needs to win by 8 or more or 9 or more. So we're going to go with Western Bulldogs to either win or not lose by more than 9 points. So there's 8 games this weekend. There's 2 teams with a bye. And we've got 1 game that we're not touching. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 lots of $5 on the line. Interesting. They didn't start even our 3 companies at the start of the year. They just were how they were after previous seasons. But if Bet365, they've got 4 bets, that's $20 up in the air. Let's hope that 20 becomes nearly 40, but we'll see. Otherwise, we might need to look at shifting some of that 126 across or evening it out. Anyway, that's the look at into the past and the look at the round that's coming up.